Hello and welcome. I'm Pooja Shali and today we have a very special telecast here because joining me are two actors and this is how I'll introduce them. He is a talented actor, he's a charmer and he's on his way to becoming a superstar. She is fun and forthright, she's intelligent and she's daring to experiment with roles unlike some of her contemporaries. Of course, joining me are Vicky Kaushal and Sara Khan. And it is their incredible film Zara Hatke Zara Bachke. Butterflies in the stomach, 2 years. Welcome back to theatres.
Yes, not just butterflies, I think elephants. Elephants in our stomachs because for both of us, our last releases were OTT releases and this is our first theatrical release post the pandemic. So we are very excited, very nervous and also what's going on is that people in general have this notion of going to the cinemas for an action film or a big spectacle film. So this is a very sweet, warm, like, you know, wholesome family film. So it's kind of a test. It's kind of a underdog kind of a film that's coming out. So we're very excited.
Let's take a look and let's start with you. Your career graph, okay? Razi, Uri, Sardar Udham, then Sam Manekshaw. Then comes a Govinda Naam Hai Mera. And for your theatrical release, you choose a rom-com with a twist after 2 years, 3 years, which is Zara Hatke Zara Bachke. What is it about this film that you thought, let me take this chance? Because this career is Hatke. This is not Bachke at all that you have chosen. Why this film for you?
Because Pooja, I think the one thing that I'm confident about regarding this film is that it's not just my film or her film. It's our film. And I genuinely believe that. This is a film that genuinely has the capacity to be related by everybody in the country. Whoever's had a modest upbringing, whoever's had, which I feel is 99% of our country. Hamare sukh, hamare dukh are all very simple, are all very, like, you know, macro, zyadatar. So it's a film about a couple in a joint family and their small joys and their small sadness and joys and everything. That I feel at its core is something that will connect to the people once they come to the theatres and watch it with their families. It's a film that I feel genuinely will bring families
So this
together.
is not a serious, jhagda, rone dhone wala film.
Bilkul bhi nahi.
This is an entertainer.
It's an entertainer, popcorn, feel-good film.
Oh, that's lovely to hear because people will want to know if the trailers look like Soumya is gunning for him. Is Soumya's energy like that of Sara? Because I know you, at least through social media, you are a troll slayer. And I know what happened recently in the past few days, the obnoxious trolling that you had to face for a temple visit. And you've given it back like you should. You live it like you want to. Do you reply to trolls like Soumya does? Do you take on, does this pressure get to you sometimes?
No, I don't think so at all. I think, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think that it's very important, whether it's a troll, whether it's any opinion actually, you know, our job is such that you have to have blinders on. And whether it's any kind of noise, it's very important to know when it's appropriate to respond to it. If a journalist, a media house, an audience member, a family member, anybody has a view on my work, I'm answerable to them. I do what I do because of them. But any personal opinion, and I don't think there's anything more personal than your spiritual or religious beliefs.
I agree.
So something that personal, I don't feel I owe anybody an explanation. So, and I'm very clear with that.
And you'll continue to do and go to these visits to all the temples.
It's really strange that one of these troll situations actually happened right before I went to Mahakaleshwar. And I promise you, it didn't even occur to me. So I think that somewhere there is this balance because जो बोलते हैं ना जनता जनार्दन, as important as my audience, my media, my country is to me and their opinions matter to me paramount when it comes to my work. Without any disrespect involved, there can't be a more inconsequential thing to my personal beliefs than their opinion.
And it shouldn't be, right? Where you visit as a place of worship is a very personal thing.
And how to start explaining कि मैं अजमेर भी जाती हूँ, मैं बंगला साहब भी जाती हूँ, मैं जाना है अब मैं महाकाल भी जाती हूँ, मुझे आप वेनिस ले जाओ तो मैं वहाँ के आर्किटेक्चर से लेके चर्च को ऐसे देखूंगी जैसे wow, how do I explain this?
Do you believe that God is perhaps supervising
Honestly,
your path?
for most people, and in the most appropriate way I'll tell you, I think God is in your heart.
That's true.
Do good, be good, That's all that there is.
So you're not aggressive like Soumya is in the film, or perhaps as focused as she is to get what she wants.
You know, see, the thing about Soumya, what I really like about her is that while she's the high-spirited, like I think Lakshman sir gave a statement somewhere saying, little ziddi, little bindas, which is definitely like me. So I think at the core, there are, you know, attributes that Soumya and I share. But I think that her entire setup, where she comes from, what she does, the fact that she's married, lives in a joint family, it's so distinct from me that I think Soumya is not, I don't really relate to Soumya as much as I think it's an exercise wherein if I was living in that imaginary circumstance, Soumya is the closest to what Sara would be. Not that Sara is Soumya or Soumya is Sara. But अगर मैं उस दुनिया में रहती विकी के साथ और लक्ष्मण सर द्वारा मैं अपने इमोशंस को जीती, I think that Soumya would probably be what I would be.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Some experience with you with regard to marriage, but what lessons did Vicky Kaushal take from Zara Hatke Zara Bachke to not do in your real life marriage with Katrina?
Oh, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I'm just recapping the whole film in my mind.
And being slightly cautious on what to say.
No, not at all. Not at all. इतना मेरा दिमाग चलता भी नहीं है cautious. I would say, see, the thing is, if I go into the details, I'll open up the storyline, I'll open up a lot about the film, which I don't want to do before the release. But there are certain spaces where some misunderstandings do get created between the couple, which are very situational. And one thing I have learnt in my real life, being a married person, is that sometimes your biggest friend in a relationship is patience. And from both parties, if you genuinely are interested in building a relationship full of understanding and compassion, that's your friend. And somewhere in this storyline, Kapil and Soumya kind of miss that aspect, and that leads to a lot of confusion and humor and sensitive things and whatever. But I think that is one thing I got to learn कि यार हाँ यार अगर ये एक factor है जो real life में इसका ध्यान रखना चाहिए.
Very good answer. All the best to you about it. Keep your patience.
Your all the best is scaring me.
Okay, so let's talk about this film specifically because usually rom-coms क्या होते हैं? प्यार हुआ, थोड़ा misunderstanding हुई, शादी हुई, happy ending, go back home, lovely.
Yeah.
This is about marriage, which is a real test. Why was it when you talk about an issue sort of like divorce, it was not set in a Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, but in Indore? What do you think could be the reasons for it? Because I found that very interesting. One, the subject that you're dealing with, and then to set it in Indore.
I personally am of the belief that while I love Delhi, while I'm from Bombay, there's a slightly urban, almost Western influence that these metropolitan cities in our country do have. Therefore, the pulse, the real heartland pulse of our country's emotions, I believe, lies in slightly more BC sector towns, cities, you know, areas, which is what I think Indore represents for us. It's heartland India.
Yeah.
The exposure is not as much as that of a girl from Bangalore or Delhi or Mumbai. Therefore, I think the stakes and the emotions are much more central India, which is the larger
And the topic of
sector
divorce is not so easily
population.
discussed likely,
Exactly.
unlike Mumbai, Delhi.
The divorce, like when you say divorce, like again, I don't want to give away much of the
correct.
film. But अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ तलाक, तो जो मेरी मम्मी, डैडी, you know, mother-in-law, father-in-law का reaction आएगा, I don't know if people in the metropolitan areas are so sensitive to this anymore. There's a slightly desensitized nature to a lot of the things that we are discussing. अभी भी छोटे शहरों में ये चीजें बहुत बड़ी होती हैं. And I think that we needed a demographic that understands that.
Very interesting. And you chose Indore, one of the cleanest cities, but also good as a background to it. So you call this an entertainer. Now there is, when you meet on the sets, it's a daily affair. Who is more entertainer and who is very reserved and serious on the sets?
I'll give you a question. I dare you to answer. I dare you to answer differently.
Okay.
Like, what do you think?
So I asked this question expecting perhaps on the sets that it would be very different. Is it or not? Does he play pranks or is he reserved and serious and just wants to focus? It's before a shot, right? Let's say about 10 minutes before the shot. who is really into the shot and is like, dekh lenge, we'll figure this
No,
out.
it actually depends on the nature of the film and the nature of the scene we are doing. And this film, keeping in mind all that divorce and falana, it is genuinely a halka fulka film. It is a really like a enjoying popcorn, light-hearted family film. So जब हम set पे काम भी कर रहे थे, because we're part of a joint family and everything, every day we used to be like surrounded by co-actors, like 6-7 co-actors. So it was genuinely like chilling on set and like having a blast. And because it's also in every scene, it's situational comedy where, you know, इनकी problem चल रही है, but actually as a scene it's comedy.
Is she as interactive and as loud
Oh,
on
she
the
is.
set as well with everyone?
She's a lot of fun on set and off it also. She genuinely as a person is somebody, I'm so glad I got to work with her because I got a new friend in her, and also she's got a personality where like I know that I can trust her completely. And she's genuinely that person who's a lot of fun, who's brutally honest, and she's just like the life of the party. Where if you're on set, if इसका अगर सीन नहीं है और उस दिन हम इसके बिना काम कर रहे हैं, you know कि
कुछ missing है.
कुछ missing है.
And you know, I saw that friendship a little bit from one of the videos that's gone viral is of you at the stadium recently. I think you watched the
yes, we
IPL
got to
final.
watch
The reactions on your faces. I think you couldn't believe there's a boundary that's happened. How was that experience at the stadium?
You know, I haven't watched cricket live before ever. So I think that while, you know, one was very excited, I was of the opinion, incorrectly, that it was going to be Dhoni sir's last match, last IPL. So I was very, like, really rooting for him. And when he got out, I think both of us felt so disappointed and upset that we were like, ठीक है, कम से कम उनकी team को जीतनी चाहिए. But then I think what also started happening was, as somebody that hasn't watched cricket very much, I wanted to juice the whole experience. So मेरा क्या था कि last ball तक match चलना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
And you stayed back. It was
of course,
a late
yeah, it was
night
really
match.
late. Which explains why I was roaming around in a night suit in case my mom is still upset about it.
But I saw the expressions. It was lovely.
It
But
was
are you
great.
both cricket fans? Is it something that,
Oh,
that
yes.
you focus? You
I
do.
am. Yeah.
You do. And you play also often when you are.
I play कभी
traveling.
प्रोफेशनली नहीं खेला है, बट गली मोहल्ले में जैसे हर किस इंडियन किड ने खेला ही है कि जहाँ पे भी मौका मिले बैट बॉल बना लो, स्टंप भी किसी को भी स्टंप बना दो. ऐसे हम सेट पे भी बहुत खेलते थे. जब भी शूटिंग के दौरान भी मौका मिलता था तो यूनिट इकट्ठा होके कि चलो यार क्रिकेट खेल लेते हैं.
Wow, that's interesting. Now that got me to a question. Suddenly it's come to my mind. There is in your family a love story between a cricketer and a star and a film actor. Is Sara Ali Khan open to a real life jodi of a film actor and a cricketer?
You know, I think that for the kind of person that I am truly, to find somebody, it doesn't matter what they do. Actor, cricketer, businessman, doctor, maybe not doctor, they'll run away. But you know, the truth is that, jokes apart, I think that you'll need to match me on like a mental and intellectual level. And if you can do that, I think, firstly, great, and wow, please introduce yourself. But I think that would matter to me much more than the
Anyone that you think in the current crop, they've been playing so well recently?
I'll be honest with you. I think, and I can say this with almost a surety, I think the person that I'm going to be with in my life, I have not met so far.
Really? At all?
I really don't think so.
Wow, has to be someone really special.
I
Sara.
hope so.
Not someone from you met, worked with, or
No.
perhaps have a crush on?
No.
Not at all.
I really genuinely believe that I don't know him.
Someone's watching, has their high hopes up right now, thinking they can.
Well, if I don't know you and you can match my intellectual and, you know, mental frequency, then reach out.
Okay, let's play a little bit of fun questions. Okay, let's take a look at that. Vicky, great career, incredible wife, बस अब और क्या चाहिए?
मुझे एक बात का जिससे मैं कभी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं होऊंगा और हमेशा ग्रेटफुल रहूंगा इज ऑडियंस का प्यार. तो वो मुझे हमेशा चाहिए कि ऑडियंस का प्यार मिलता रहे.
Sara, you have so many legends in your family. Who is Hatke and who is Bachke? Who lives in that fashion in the family around you?
Honestly, I think that sometimes these two, and more often than not, should go together. So I think both are mom.
With her mom?
Yeah.
Really? Hatke bhi and Bachke bhi. Amrita Singh. Lovely. Vicky, between you and Katrina, who is Hatke and who is Bachke?
Who is Hatke and who is Bachke? I think वो जब हटके हो जाती है तो मुझे बच के रहना पड़ता है. Yeah.
Okay, good answer. Sara, your dream man, should he be Hatke, a risk taker, or should he be Bachke, secure, settled, and a calmer person?
मैंने ना बहुत रिसेंटली बोला था कि हटके और बचके साथ जाना चाहिए, तो मुझे ये दोनों चीजें चाहिए.
दोनों चाहिए? There's no harm in expecting and
Right?
wanting, of course. I am with you on that. Okay, and you were at Cannes recently. How lovely you looked. How was that experience walking the red carpet?
It
at
was
Cannes?
amazing.
Yeah?
I think it was amazing. I think that, you know, I was happy to go there. I went there as an actor, as a woman, and as an Indian. And these are the three things that I think define my entire existence. So it was lovely to go there.
And my final question before I wrap up, there's this whole OTT theatre. You both have kind of made their ventures into it. Theatrical release after 2-3 years, but still willing to work in OTT. How is that coming along? Which one do you think is clicking with the audience?
I think eventually what matters is whatever you watch, wherever you watch, has to connect with you. आप चाहे वो शो देख रहे हो, चाहे थिएटर में फिल्म देख रहे हो, अगर वो बुरी है तो आपका देखने का मन नहीं करेगा, you won't have a good experience. अगर वो अच्छी है, आपका experience अच्छा जाएगा. Of course, the romance and the magic of being in a black box and watching a film and getting transported into another world is never going to die. And it's something that...
Do we see Katrina and Vicky together soon? Is there a possibility of that happening?
I would really love for that to happen.
What kind of plot would you want?
I don't know. We are actually very open to kind of see how directors and producers see us and, you know, what's the best way that we can come forward. But of course, it has to have some novelty and freshness in that, if that has to happen. I'll be really looking forward to that opportunity.
How did both of you meet? I'm curious for the show. Was it like an audition? Because I did know this, that apparently you both were the first choice of the directors.
Me and Sara?
Yeah.
We first, like in life or just like for this film?
For this film.
कब मिले थे यार?
मुझे याद है कि actually मैं उद्धम सिंह के screening पे तुमसे मिली थी.
Yeah.
और तुमने, and I remember telling him that I think you're very, very good in this film. And he said, "No, I can't wait to just go on set and start laughing with you."
Yeah,
that was our first interaction.
तब तक हमारा like the process had started जब उधम आई थी सरदार उधम, we knew that we were going to work on this film, and that was इसी film पे मैं जा रहा था after उधम. So because सरदार उधम was an emotionally a little draining for me as an actor, so I was really looking forward to be on the sets with Zara Hatke Zara Bachke with Sara, because she's got this lively energy and like, you know, this fun energy. So I was like, यार मस्ती करेंगे, मजा आएगा.
How did you break the ice when you're working together for the first time in a film?
There is no ice when you're interacting with Sara. There is just she's like a river. She flows. She flows. You either get on a boat and you're sailing with her, or you've just missed the boat.
No awkwardness of when it was time to fight or deliver dialogues, that you had to come to a certain wavelength together to match, or that happened right away, Sara?
Honestly, I think that as an actor, I'm beginning to experience more and more that I have to do justice to my character. So it's not likely that, you know, I mean, I'm not a married girl living in a joint family. I'm not married to Vicky. I probably don't feel like killing him. You know, I don't have such intense emotions, but that doesn't mean that my character shouldn't for him. So once we're on set, and Lakshman sir's on set, he's Kapil and I'm Soumya. And I think Lakshman sir took us to a point where Soumya and Kapil had to feel what they had to feel. And we were feeling that.
Lovely. I think that's all I would like to ask. It's been a very good conversation. Thank you. But I won't let you go before we have a few steps to do. And there is a special request. Can I please request both of you to come forward? Vicky is looking at me. She's got me. Right? If you're comfortable. Lovely. Come. All right, so as I wrap up, I want to thank Vicky Kaushal and Sara. All the very
Thank you,
best for
Pooja.
your film.
So
God
lovely
bless
talking
you,
to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
and have a nice time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a sport with the question. Thank you.